So, you was on your street pharmacist grind, try to be a trap star, and someone ratted you out. And now you're going to jail. I've been there, bro. And honestly, in hindsight, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. But I know you're probably uncertain and scared as fuck about everything going on right now. So let me just guide you through how your first night's gonna go. I hope that if you're watching this, you don't have a sentence looming over your head, because I know what that does to you. I know what it's like to have a completely uncertain future and be so scared about everything that might happen. If you are, feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram is @ETSZO. I'm happy to talk to whoever. Like, I want to hear your story, hear what got you in the mess that you're in, and hopefully I can provide some words of advice to you. Because I know back then it would have helped me so much to have someone that had already gone through what I was about to go through. And that's why I'm putting this video out there. I ideally want to help people that are in a similar situation to what I was back then. But let me introduce myself. They call me ETSZO. I had a 26-month sentence. I did 13 months inside in jail. I went from maximum all the way to minimum, and I served the last 13 months of my sentence in the community on parole. I was a kid messing with shit that I really shouldn't have been, and ultimately I paid the price for it. I got locked up when I was 20, still pretty young. I was one of the youngest people in the jails that I was in. It was the scariest and most daunting experience of my life, but I still chose to use my time to the best of my ability and make the most of my opportunity. So anyways, you're about to get locked up, right? Here's what you have to do. Before you go to court, I want you to withdraw all of the money that you have in your bank account into cash. Now you're gonna bring all of that cash with you to court in your pockets. Once you get sentenced and you're going into jail, all of your personal belongings will be processed, and any cash that you're holding on you will be put into your commissary. This is really important because, bro, if you don't have any money when you go into jail, it makes it so much harder, especially for your first few nights, because someone can just call up and they can put money in your books, but that takes time, and in jail, bro, everything takes infinitely longer than on the outside. Out here, you send money to someone through a bank transfer and they get it immediately. In jail, someone will send money to the jail, telling them that they want the jail to give it to you, and a week later, that money will land in your account. A week on the outside is nothing. Time goes by so fast out here. In there, when you have nothing to do, nothing to focus on, and you're just thinking, when is my money gonna come through so I can get groceries this week, so I can buy stuff off spends? Haven't ate much, like I wanna get some good feeds, you know? Trust me, if you bring money into jail when you know you're going to be sentenced, it makes your whole sentence so much easier. I only brought $500 into jail, and if I'd known better back then, I would have brought a few thousand. So this is how it's going to go when you're at the courthouse. You're going to walk in, whoever you've brought with you is going to be sitting there, and you're going to be behind the podium, and your lawyer or you are going to be talking to the judge. You want to bring your best outfit, you want to dress in a suit, you want to dress real formal. You want to put your best foot forward. Ultimately, this person, whether you like them or not, is going to be deciding how your future goes. So you can choose to be respectful and admit that you got yourself in this mess, or you can choose to be a dickhead and ruin your chances of getting a lesser sentence and ultimately mess up your own future. Don't bring any valuables to court. It doesn't really do anything for you. You can wear a nice watch if you want to wear a watch to present yourself in a better way in the courthouse, but before you get sentenced, just give it to your family member or something. There's no point bringing any of your valuables in, because the prison system doesn't work like that. Sure, they'll say that they'll hold it for the duration of your sentence, but really things get lost, you know, things get misplaced. You have to sign a waiver when you first get sentenced saying that if they lose anything, it's not their fault. So let's say you bring a nice rollie in and you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna look so fresh at the courthouse, have my rollie on. Then you go to jail and you think it's with the rest of your stuff just in reception. But really, one of the guards saw it and they thought, wow, that's a nice Rolex. I might just keep it myself. I don't know, shit goes missing all the time. And that's the last time you see your watch. You have to be really, really, really careful with all of your valuables. I would say just leave everything. The only thing you should bring into jail with you is cash, because that's the only thing that you can bring in. Once you have spoken to the judge and they've debated your future and they've given you a sentence, if unfortunately it is a sentence that involves you spending some time in jail, you will be processed and put in a holding cell. And who knows how long you'll be in this holding cell for, but it will take a fair bit of time. And I was in my first holding cell for about 5 or 6 hours. Luckily I had someone else in there with me and we became really good friends, but you know, you might just be sitting there with your thoughts for 6 hours plus. You have to find ways to entertain yourself when you have nothing around you. This is one of the most important things about jail. You are broken down to your bare bones, right? You are broken down to literally just your mind and nothing else. You are broken down to literally just your mind and your body. And you must keep your mind and body active at all times. If you don't, you are literally just going to become a shell of yourself. When I first walked into that holding cell, there was someone else already in there. He'd just been sentenced and he had 5 years left of his sentence. And obviously we talked for a bit. I got to know him, he got to know me. He'd done a little bit of jail before. He was on remand, which is pretty much where straight after you get caught and arrested for whatever crime you're caught for, you just get sentenced straight to jail, you don't get bail. He was on remand for a few months. He'd done maximum security, and so he had a little bit of experience. It was good to speak to him then because he helped calm my nerves a little bit, you know. I was young, I didn't know what to expect from jail. He was a good human being that had just made the wrong choice, you know. So we were talking, chopping it up in that cell. And I thought, why don't we just have a push-up competition? You know, we got nothing to do for the next few hours. Let's just see how many push-ups we can do. Bro, we did a few thousand push-ups each because what else are you going to do? You're sitting in a cell. There's no stimulation. You don't have your phone. You don't have anything. When was the last time you sat still for an extended period of time? That is what jail will do to you. You'll realize you are so controlled by everything around you. That is not a realization that many people get to realize in this modern day and age. Another thing you can do in that holding cell is bang on the doors until a guard comes by and just ask them for a pen and paper. Most people, unfortunately, wouldn't know what to do with that, but a pen and paper is your mind's way of taking action in this world. I'm a creative person. I like to write music. I like to share my thoughts. And when I was in that holding cell, I wrote down some songs. All you can do is just tap your pen, make a beat, just tapping on the wall. Or you can get your mate to beatbox with you. And you can just think of some lyrics that go with the flow, you know? Write them down, it makes it permanent. It shows that you can actually do something with your time when you are broken down to your bare bones and given nothing. You can still make the most of it. So anyways, once you're processed and you're taken out of that holding cell, you'll be sent to your first prison. I'm not sure how other prisons work, but for Australia, every prisoner is sent to maximum security at first. At maximum security, they're watched. The guards see what type of people you hang around, what your daily habits are, and what kind of person you are. And then they decide from there what type of risk prisoner you are. So, obviously, you should be on your best behavior. I, unfortunately, wasn't. I got in a fight within my first 3 days of being in jail, and instead of getting sent straight to minimum security, like most other people with my circumstances would have been, I got sent to medium for 9 months. And you know what? It's a lesson learned. But also, it's one of those things where you can't do too much about it. In jail, you have to defend yourself. If someone is going to try and start a problem with you, you can't just back off and let them walk all over you. Because if you do, everyone else sees that. And everyone else knows that they can just walk all over you. If someone tries to snatch the phone out of your hand when you're on your 1 10-minute call a day to your partner or your family, you make sure that you snatch it right back and you don't take disrespect from someone. And so, unfortunately, I was in a circumstance where I really didn't have another choice but to use violence to defend myself. In the outside world, I understand not understanding that, because there are plenty of circumstances where you think, oh, I can just walk away, or what someone else thinks about you doesn't really matter, or if they want it so bad that they're willing to hurt you for it, then you might as well just let them have it. But in jail, it doesn't work like that, and you have to reframe your thinking if you want to survive in jail. You have to understand that these people don't think like everyone else. There's a reason that most of them are in jail. Now, this next part might only apply to Australian prisons. You have to be very careful about the language that you use with people. For example, calling someone a motherfucker is, for some reason, the most offensive thing you can say to someone in jail, or calling someone a dog. Now, usually context is important in these types of things, but in jail, at least in Australian culture, they're very particular about the words that you use, and people are very hot-headed in jail, so you have to be very careful what you say to them. Honestly, just stick to yourself. Make friends with your cellie, make friends with a few people in the yard, but keep them at an arm's length. These people are not your friends. They've all made mistakes in their life, and they're in jail for a reason, same as you. You'd be better off just looking after yourself, protecting number one, and focusing on doing your time, getting out of there as soon as you can. You don't want to get involved in prison politics or any of the drama that will just make you end up doing your full sentence. So, how do you buy things in jail? Well, we had what we called spends. Spends is basically a once a week time where you can put in a slip and order your groceries. And it's not just groceries, you can also order like board games, you can order an Xbox, you can order different shampoos, basically just general day-to-day living expenses type thing. You don't get much selection, but the stuff that you get, you will use to its fullest because you don't get much in jail. Everything that you buy, you'll cherish. If you smoke, I highly suggest that you stop smoking when you go to jail. I quit smoking as soon as I went in. Not only is it good for your health, as you've heard a million times before, but it will ensure that you don't get yourself involved in pointless drama, because in jail, smokes are the #1 currency. If you're smoking, people are gonna ask you for a smoke, or they're gonna know that you have cigarettes, and that's important to some people because some people don't have money to buy cigarettes. So how will they get their cigarettes? They'll look for an easy target. Let's say they see you smoking out in the yard. When you're out in the yard, they'll walk into your cell, grab all your stuff, look for your tobacco, take it, run off. You won't even know they've done it. And also, a lot of smokers in jail typically end up in debt, because the way the cigarette currency works is, I'll give you a pouch of cigarettes, and next week, 1 week from now, you might not even have enough money by then. You owe me a pouch and a half. And a pouch is about $70 in jail. So do the math on that one. It adds up pretty fast. If you get yourself in too much debt, no one's gonna be able to save you. You can flag up and you can go to protection, but that's not an enjoyable jail experience either. It's much better for you if you just quit smoking, at least while you're in jail. Let's say you just have a short sentence, something less than a year. You'll be right. Like, it's not gonna kill you. Yes, it's good for your health, whatever. I'm sure you've heard that a million times before, but your safety is loads more important than that. Don't tell anyone that you have any money on your books. However much money you came into jail with doesn't exist. No one else can see it, only you know about it. So there is no point being a loudmouth and letting everyone know that you have thousands of dollars, essentially snitching on yourself and making you a target for other people. Another thing about canteen slips. I didn't realize this, but at the first prison I was at for about 2 weeks, there was stuff there that you can't buy at any other prison. The first maximum security prison that I went to, you could buy Game Boys. And I remember looking at that on the spend slip and thinking, whoa, I could have my own Game Boy. And then I didn't buy it. And I got to my next prison and it wasn't on the spend slip no more. And I was like, what happened to the Game Boy? Oh, you can only buy that at the first prison. But most people don't know that, so no one's going to be buying a Game Boy in their first week. You're still adjusting to jail. You're still thinking, I don't want to have too many belongings. I don't want to get my stuff stolen off me. So yeah, I do advise that you really carefully read over your canteen slip. Anything that you could see as beneficial to you for the duration of your sentence, however long that might be, buy it. Don't let anyone know, and just keep it in your cell. Don't even tell your cellie. Just leave it alone. Wait till you get to your next prison, worry about it then. The 2 types of people that you should be most friendly with in jail is 1, your cellie, because that guy is either going to make your sentence heaven or hell, and 2, the people that work in the kitchen, because bro, let me tell you, in jail you get the worst feeds. So if you want to be eating good, you want to be eating right, getting enough protein because you're working out in the yard, you got to be friends with the people that work in the kitchen, because they're going to give you double portions, they're going to give you triple portions. The newbies that walk into jail, they don't get much food. You get 1 chicken wing, some mashed potatoes, and a touch of gravy. But if you're mates with the people that work in the dish up line, you say, hey, Marco, chuck in a little bit extra on my plate. They'll do you a solid, Maybe you give them a little bit of your spends, you buy them something extra. Buy them a tuna, buy them some shampoo, whatever. Everything kind of works as currency in jail. But yeah, about your cellie. So when you first walk into that jail, you'll be taken to your cell by the guards. Everyone in that jail is going to be looking at you. They're going to be thinking, this is the new guy on the block. We gotta suss him out, see how he is, Maybe he's easy pickings, maybe he's not someone you want to associate with. Everyone's very wary of the new guy on the block. So when you get taken to your cell, either your cellie's going to be in there already, or he'll be out in the yard. And if he's in the cell, walk up to him, shake his hand, introduce yourself, Just try and make it seem like you're not a threat to him and you want to get along. Because as I said before, this is going to be someone that you're locked down with at night. You're going to be in that cell with him for well over 12 hours. And if you guys don't get along, there's going to be a lot of problems that come from that. If he's not in the cell, he'll be out in the yard. And so after you've settled into your cell, put all your stuff down, made your bed, freshened up a little bit, walk out to the yard, ask some fellows that are chilling there, say, do you know who's in this cell? I just moved in, I gotta meet my cellie, just want to greet him. You don't want to leave it too long. It kind of gives off bad vibes to your cellmate. He'll think, why is this guy avoiding me? Why isn't he trying to find me? Is he scared? Does he maybe have some charges that he doesn't want talked about? It just creates a lot of issues for you. Your best bet is to just be friendly. Your best bet is to just be outgoing, try and find him and create that connection right off the bat. Now, what do you do if you guys don't get along? Let's say you've talk to him for a few minutes and he's some bad junkie cunt. He's just got a lot of drugs in his system, definitely not someone that you'd ever get along with. What do you do there? Are you just supposed to put up with him? What if he tries to stab you through the night while you're sleeping? It's not as bad as it might seem. If you really don't think that you're gonna get along with your cellie, you gotta go talk to the guards. You have to be careful with what you talk to the guards about, but if you walk up to them and you say, look, me and my cellie, we're not gonna get along. There's gonna be a problem if I'm staying in the cell with him tonight. It would be a lot easier for all of us involved if you just moved me in a cell with someone else. If you say that matter-of-factly and you're upfront about it, you're not trying to make no bullshit up, 9 times out of 10, they'll move you. It depends on your character as well. It depends on how you come across. There have been times where I've seen people ask to get moved and they just get told no. And unfortunately, some stuff does happen. Yes, the guards are at fault for that, but I do think maybe if they'd presented themselves a little bit better, they would have got a result that they'd hoped for. In Australian jails, we call the guards screws, and everyone has a different view about how you should talk to them. Some people say you should just avoid them at all costs. Some people say that you should be as respectful as you can be and fucking kiss the grass that they walk on. And I'm a little bit in the middle of that. I think treating them with respect when necessary will help you get what you want, rather than just being a disrespectful cunt. I found in situations where I was trying to get what I wanted, and obviously you have to go through a guard, I would speak respectfully to them, I would try and not waste their time, and that got me what I wanted 9 times out of 10. It's all about how you present yourself in jail, and you have to present yourself differently to different people. You want to be on good terms with as many people as possible. You want to be on good terms with the guards so that you don't get written up, you don't potentially get knocked back from parole because you've had too many problems inside, and you also want to be on good terms with the prisoners because you don't want to be getting in unnecessary fights. You don't want to have problems on the yard because ultimately all of that could screw up you getting out as well. It's a bad system. It's designed to keep you trapped in there. And unfortunately, some people do get stuck in the mindset of being in jail. They get so used to that mindset and how they should think in jail that when they get out in the real world, they keep acting like that. And ultimately, they get sent back to jail because that's all they know. It's a sad reality for a lot of people. I made a lot of good friends in there. A lot of them had just been in and out of jail their whole life. I lived with someone for about 8 months, and he was a very good friend of mine. He told me that 14 out of the last 18 years of his life he'd spent inside jail. That absolutely blew my mind because he was one of the smartest people that I'd ever met. He could break down concepts and explain himself so articulately, but it's almost like he lacked the social skills of how to deal with the outside world, because he'd get out and he'd immediately turn to drugs, get back into the same old patterns that he was in prior to being incarcerated, and within a few weeks he'd be locked back inside. But then on the inside he'd be training every day, he'd be fit as fuck, he'd be eating right, he'd be doing everything that he could to live his best life. And that's a lot of what jail is. It's a lot of wasted potential. You see so many people in there that you just think, what are you even doing in jail? You're such a good cook, or you could literally be a bodybuilder on the outside. You could be a model. What are you doing locked in a jail cell? A lot of people don't see their own potential, and that's why they get caught in that loop of just going straight back to jail as soon as they get back out. Sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked, but back to the guards. A lot of them can be insanely insufferable, you know, they love to power trip, but I like to remind myself that ultimately they're people too. They're just people clocking into their 9-to-5 job. They're just trying to make money to support their family. And yeah, not everyone's a perfect human being. None of the prisoners are, and most of the guards aren't either. There are some good ones, some people that want to work in prison so that they can actually help people and give them better lives. But I would say the vast majority of screws ultimately just take that job because they can exert power over other human beings. Because if you think about the type of person that chooses a career of working in prisons for the rest of their life, they're going to be lacking in a few other areas in their life, right? So what do you do about other prisoners, and how should you spend your time? Depending on what time you get sent to your first jail and settle into everything, try and spend some time out on the yard. Firstly, you'll be able to exercise, you'll keep your mind active, you'll keep your body active, but also that's where everyone else goes. Everyone else that is in the same compound as you will spend most of their time out on the yard or in their cell. Now, if you want to get known among all the people that you're with, go out to the yard, make a few friends, walk up to some people, start talking with them, lift some weights, you know, make some friends that are also lifting weights. It's good to have as many connections as you can in jail. Whether you're just speaking to them about very basic stuff, as long as you make that connection, there's less likely to be a problem between the two of you. But honestly, I reckon the gym is probably the best environment to make friends in jail. Because think about it, it's the gym. Everyone's there to better themselves. Everyone's trying to grow grow and develop their body. So why would they try to bring other people down in that environment? It's a lot of like very stereotypical gym bro stuff. You make a lot of good friends that are literally just trying to exercise, you know, spend their time wisely, work on themselves, and they want to share their energy with you. You'll find a lot of people that you can either learn skills from or teach skills to. There's every single walk of life in jail. There's every different level of every skill. One of my close mates in there was a calisthenics athlete, and he taught me so many moves that honestly I couldn't even learn in the span of time that I was locked up for. He'd do the craziest stuff on the bar, like he'd start doing a reverse muscle up, lifted himself up, then turn it into a planche. And just watching that and thinking, yo, that could be me in maybe like 6 years if I locked in, but right now I'm nowhere near that yet. But seeing that type of stuff in jail, it really inspires you. It shows you what you can do with your time if you've actually put your time to good use. Most people are going to spend their time, unfortunately, locked in their cell watching TV 12 hours a day. You don't want that to be you. Listen, if you care about your life, if you want to do anything with your life, you have to make sure that your time in jail is used to work on your future. I don't know what your future goals are, I don't know what your plans are, but buy a pen and paper, write all that stuff down while you're in your cell, when you get locked down, whenever you have a free moment, because bro, trust me, you have a million free moments in jail. Whenever you have the time, write down your plans. It's as simple as saying, the first day that I'm out, I want to go shopping. I want to see my partner. I want to hang out with some friends. As long as you've planned things out for your future, you have something to look forward to. You're not thinking, oh, I might as well just stay here forever. I've got nothing waiting for me on the outside. Nobody cares about me. You won't get stuck in that thought loop. Look, good people in jail are few and far between, but honestly, there's a lot of people that just made a one-time mistake, same as you, that are just in jail and trying to learn from that mistake and do their time peacefully. If you mainly spend your time around those people, you'll stay out of trouble, you'll keep your head down, and your time will go by so fast. But don't be scared to approach people either. You can generally tell the vibe of someone before you approach them. If you see someone with like 20 face tats tatted from their head to their toes, obviously you're probably not going to want to approach them. Yes, there may be outliers, but as a general rule of thumb, trust your intuition. Don't approach people you don't think you'll get along with. You don't have to make friends with everyone, you just have to be friends with a good group of people that will have your back if trouble arises. Now lastly and most importantly, don't go into jail with a chip on your shoulder, and I mean this seriously. Don't walk around like you have something to prove. Remember, you're just in there to learn a lesson. This is not permanent for you. There are people in jail that live their entire lives in jail. There are people there with life sentences that you don't want to mess with because you get to leave. They don't get to leave. You don't have anything to prove to them. You acknowledge that that is the rest of their life and you be respectful to them, but you do not try to prove yourself to these people because you do not want to involve yourself in other people's drama. Just do your time and learn from it. Use your time wisely to grow and develop your character. As they say on the inside, do your own jail. So yeah, I honestly thought this would be a shorter one. I didn't think I'd yap for so long. But as I said earlier, if you are dealing with a sentence that's looming over your head, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to chat with you. Again, the Instagram is at ETSZO, ETSZO. I've linked it in the description as well. If you want to see another video about my full experience in jail, I'll link it in the outro. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you found it informative and learnt a thing or two. I'll catch you in the next one.